Well, if you think about athletic performance, it's more than just, say, like if I want to throw a baseball, something simple like that. Well, I'm not saying that's biomechanically simple, but just a straightforward task, like I'm going to get better at doing this one thing. Well, there's a muscular component to that. There's a connective tissue component to that, like how far am I stretching my connective tissue, how fast are my muscles contracting, and what sort of sequence are they contracting. But there's a neuromuscular connection, right? So my brain is dictating how all of that is happening. And so when you're in deep sleep, you're repairing and regenerating your muscles. So when you exercise, you don't actually get stronger when you exercise. You get weaker, right? You damage tissue. So you have these muscle fibers that contract like this, and they make your muscle shorter, and that's a contraction of a muscle. So my bicep goes from being this long to being this long because that muscle contracted, and I went from here to here and across thousands, millions of muscle fibers. And what happens when you exercise, if we strain those hard enough, they'll actually be trying to contract, and we'll rip them apart. And when we rip them apart, we cause damage. And then when we sleep that night, our body and brain sense that, oh, look at all this damage, and this is how the damage happened. So we want to be better at that. And so if I need to be stronger, my muscles will grow back in a way that makes them stronger. If they need to be more enduring, they'll grow back in a way that makes them more enduring. And so my body will adjust to that over time. I'll be more capable of doing what I did today, tomorrow, every single day that I sleep well. There's also, like I said, there's a neuromuscular coordination component of that, and that's primarily happens during REM sleep. The muscle repair is happening during deep sleep, and the connective tissue repair is happening during deep sleep. During REM sleep, my brain is actually rehearsing that. It's like remembering how I twisted my hand and remembering how I used where my elbow went relative to my shoulder, and like all of that, and it's rehearsing it. And it's actually causing little firings of that muscles, and that is like a neuromuscular coordination. And when you're in REM sleep, you're taking things out of your short-term memory and you're putting them into your long-term memory. You're taking something that's like, if you think about like a little animal, a little rabbit trail, and you're carving that into a sidewalk. And then if you keep rehearsing that and you make this into a superhighway to where you have tons of regions of your brain that's feeding information down this pathway to be really good at this thing. So if you decrease the amount of sleep that you get, you're decreasing the recovery of the tissue itself that's involved in throwing, but you're also decreasing the amount it's the changing the rabbit trail into the superhighway is what we call a durable track. So we're taking something that's maybe a little tangential to our brain, that's not super well laid down, and we're making it something that's a sidewalk and it's pretty well laid down. And then over time we're making it to a superhighway where we're like, this is something we're going to remember for the rest of our lives, and this is a super durable track. That's happening during REM sleep. And then there's all sorts of like emotional components if it's something skillful as well, which also gets rehearsed and categorized during deep sleep. So there's nothing that will actually improve your athletic gains more than sleep, and there's nothing that will decrease your ability to gain athletically more than lack of sleep.